In this video, I'm going to show you the exact 5 methods that I use to buy £1 million business using none of my own money. If you've ever wanted to own a super profitable business, but thought that you cannot afford it, this video right here is going to change your life forever. I'm going to break each method down step by step so you can go away and do exactly what I have done. If you're new here, I help everyday people buy established and super profitable businesses without having to use any of their own money. And I don't just teach this stuff, I am actively doing it myself. Just last November 2024, I bought a very niche and needed manufacturing company that now pays £300,000 profit every single year, and I use none of my own money to buy it. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this. I drop these videos every single week and I don't hold anything back. Just before I dive into these 5 methods, let me just quickly show you why you should probably listen to me. Between myself and my business partner, we have done over £100 million worth of acquisitions inside and outside the UK. All of them are between 1 and even 50 million turnover, usually between 1 and 5 million, and they were all making a minimum of £150,000 profit per year when we bought them. The manufacturing company that we bought last year in November came with £90,000 cash in the bank, £120,000 equity inside the property, and then within just 6 months, we've added £400,000 in revenue and £100,000 in profit to the company, just by bringing on 2 new clients. It was literally that easy. And the best part, I only go to the actual factory itself once every 2 months. The rest of the time, I'm working from my laptop, sometimes even in different countries like Thailand, because I love Thailand. So the business runs itself because I bought right. I did not want to buy myself a job. Let's get into method number 1, seller finance, also known as deferred consideration. Deferred consideration is literally the backbone of almost all deals that get done. This is where the seller and the actual business owner pretty much access the bank, allowing you to pay them over a period of time for the business rather than all at once. So the profits from the business pay the seller over a period of time. How cool is that? Most people think that when you buy a business, you have to pay 100% of the value from day one. That's absolute crap. In the real world of business acquisitions, almost every single deal will have an element of deferred consideration. Here's how I structured it. I typically offer the seller 50% upfront and then the remaining 50% over a 3 to 5 year period. Sometimes you can actually offer the seller more than what they're asking for, but only if they allow us to structure the deal in this way. For example, if a business is for sale for £1 million, I might offer 1.1, something in and around the 1.1 area, but only if I can put 50% down, 5 to 600 grand, and then the rest over a period of time. The longer, less risky, but you have to make sure that the business's profits can afford it easily. Why would the seller accept this? 3 reasons. Number 1, they get more money overall. Number 2, better tax treatment, spreading the payment over a period of time. And 3, they get certainty of the deal. And here's the thing, most sellers actually prefer this structure once you've explained it to them in the correct way. It's like selling your house for more money, but you have to wait a little bit of time to get that money. Would you take it? And you have to think that most of the people that we buy from, they're retiring and they actually look at it as extra for their pension. They actually like that structure. Method number 2, asset-based lending. This one's probably my favorite, and I look for companies that have got heavy assets inside of them. Here's how it works. When you find a business that has physical, tangible, touchable assets inside of them, this can be equipment, machinery, vehicles, property, you can actually use those assets as collateral for a loan to buy the business. The manufacturing company that I bought had around £400,000 worth of large machinery inside of it. I then went to an asset-based lender and they agreed to lend us £135,000 against the value of the machinery. And this loan is paid back over 5 years, but you guessed it, I'm not paying the loan back, the business is paying the loan back. back. That's £135,000 straight away like that, using the assets that the business that you're trying to buy already has. Crazy, huh? I mean, it's a beautiful thing. The business already owns the assets. You're just using them to fund the purchase of the business itself. It's almost like the business is buying itself for you. It's absolutely genius. And to have the loan paid back by the business and not your own pocket, it's just a win-win. So the business is literally paying for itself. Method number 3, invoice financing, also known as invoice factoring. This method works brilliantly for companies that invoice other companies that have paid for their service, and typically those invoices have a 30, 60 or 90-day payment term. With invoice financing, typically you can get around 80 to 90% of the outstanding value of the invoices owed to your company. They charge a small fee to do this, and then when the company that you have served pays the invoice financing company get their money back. So the invoice financing company looks at the invoices owed to you as an asset to the company, because these companies that you have now served owe you money. So they will lend you money against the value of that debtor book. It's called a debtor book, by the way, because those businesses are in debt to you. So depending on the size of the debtor book of the business that you're trying to buy, that will dictate the amount you can usually lend from the invoice financing company. So again, everything that you're raising is from the business. So the business is paying itself again. It's like finding money inside the business that hasn't quite arrived yet. And again, because the lender has given you 80 to 90% of the value of the invoices that are still outstanding, when those outstanding invoices get paid, it goes straight to the invoice financing company. They get paid back. You've already used the money and given it to the seller. Perfect. Method number 4, private investor. This is where you find somebody that has money. You probably already know them, but they do not want to do the work to make that money grow. You do all the work, finding the business, negotiating a deal, and potentially doing all the work post-acquisition. They literally fund it. Then all you do is give them a percent, which is better than the bank. The bank at the minute is paying 3% if you're lucky. You can offer them 10% on the money they lend you every single year. So if somebody lends you £100,000, you will give them £10,000 every single year, usually for 5 years, and then on year 6, you can pay them their £100,000 back. So their money is working very hard for them. They've had to do very little for it. It's secured against the business that you buy, because you give some small equity like 10% and you get pretty much free money. Why? Because the business pays the 10%, not you. You're probably thinking, like most people, I don't know any rich investors. Well, you're thinking about this all wrong. You don't need to know billionaires. You just need to know normal people that have some money saved up and they're fed up of the crap returns that they're getting in the bank. That's it. And then you present the deal to them, and if you present it in the correct way, they will lend you that money. I've literally done it multiple times. Even in the manufacturing company that we've just bought, we had a private investor put £150,000 in. We gave them a 10% return on interest every single year, and then a guaranteed buyback or payback of the initial funds, which is 150 grand on year 6 if they want it. This guy actually lives in Australia, the other side of the world to me. He's never seen the business, he doesn't really know what it does, but all he cares about is his returns. That's it. And to find these investors is not as hard as what you think. They're actually everywhere. High net worth individuals, successful business owners, people who have sold their business, people that have retired, people that have a pension pot. They're all looking for places to put their money where their money starts to work for them. Otherwise, it's only going to go down. And it's actually losing money sat in the bank, because the bank pay 3% interest, whereas inflation is 10% or more. So all the time they have that £100,000 sat in the bank doing nothing, it's losing value every year. And that's where you come in, and that's how you should pitch in. We actually have tons of investors inside our network and inside our group, and the person that I lent money from, believe it or not, actually made millions of pounds via YouTube. So there you go. Start networking. Your network is your net worth. Method number 5, property equity release. And no, I'm not talking about your personal property here. When we bought the manufacturing company actually owned the building that they operate in. This building had no mortgage on it. It was debt-free. So we simply asked the lender to remortgage the property, release £100,000 equity from it. So he took that 100K and he used that as part of the sale price and walked away with it. And then when we took the business over, we simply inherited the mortgage because the business owned the property. So he released 100K, it went straight to a solicitor's account, and then when we signed the paperwork, it transferred straight over to the seller's bank account. So not only did we use the machinery to buy the business, we also used the property. So there's money everywhere. You just have to get creative with this. Don't think, how can I afford this? Think, how can I structure this? Don't think I don't have the money. Think, who's got my money? Because there's never been more money on planet Earth than there is today, thanks to the bloody government printing and printing money. So it's down to you to find it. And you can't usually buy these businesses using one of these methods. The magic happens when you bring them all together. In my last purchase, we used all 5 of these to be able to pay the seller using none of our own money. We actually gave him 60% upfront, and then the remaining 40% is paid over 5 years. That's the deferred consideration bit. The business's profits are now paying him for 5 years, but where we've improved the business, we think we're going to buy him out in full within 3 years. So my total personal cash input was 0. Absolutely nada. And now the business pays me £10,000 per month. And when the debt is fully paid off in 3 to 5 years, it will pay me £20,000 a month. And I will own the commercial building, which I love because it's property investing on steroids. Way better than residential property. So I want you to think about this for just 1 second. From 0 investment to £20,000 per month profit. That's like buying a house with 0 deposit and having the house pay you £20,000 per month. It is actually property investing on literal steroids. No tenant that doesn't pay you, no tenant smashing up your property, none of that. It's commercial property investing at its finest. But before you can do any of this, you need to make a fundamental mindset shift. You have to stop thinking that it takes money to make money. Yeah, I know your parents probably told you that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Forget it all. Rewire your brain. I know that if you're anywhere near my age, I'm 37 by the way, your parents probably spoke to you exactly the same way that mine did. Just be grateful with what you've got. Shut up. It's all rubbish. What you need is creativity, problem-solving skills, and the correct structure. That is it. I'm just a normal bloke, as you can probably tell. I didn't go to fancy school or a fancy university, thank fuck, and I definitely don't have rich parents. I just learned how to structure deals in such a way that everybody wins and that it works for everybody involved. So if you're sitting there thinking, holy shit, I need to do this, then let me tell you, you are right, you do. Because this is how real wealth is built in the real world. And no, that's not some Andrew Tate real world knockoff program or something like that. I've put together some free training that goes into much more depth of what we've just spoke about today. And it shows you exactly how I bought my last business. It's about an hour and a half long, and it breaks down every single step of the process. How I found the seller, how I structured the deal, how I raised the money, everything. Click the link in the description to get access to this free training. And don't forget to subscribe because I'm dropping videos like this every single week. And if you've got any questions, drop your comments below and I promise I will personally answer every single one. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.